Hi guys, it's me, Just Linguishing again. And for this video that I'm going to be dedicating to the month of love, February in 2026, I will be talking about a little gem of movie directed by Tim Burton called Ghost Bride. And I gotta admit, this movie kicks ass. Not only is it a great movie by itself, but it resembles Beetlejuice as well as his other Tim Burton's other masterpieces. And Nightmare Before Christmas. To the point that some people will actually say that this movie is like a prequel to that other masterpiece. I wouldn't go that far, but I could see where people would say that because of the stop motion, because of the main character Jake Gyllenhaal, and then this guy's Victor Van Dogg's looks and appearances and mannerisms to the creepy vibe of it all. But this movie is also about how much more awesome it is to die, and how the afterlife is actually much more exciting than the real world, than the real physical world. Much more colorful too. So anyway, besides all that, this is also a very good romance movie because the main character Victor Van Doy actually does find love in the form of close bride Emily. Yeah, that's kind of weird. They don't even give her a name in the credit. They type her as Helena Bonham Carter as the voice of the close bride, but her name is Emily. That's funny. Anyway, there's also a reference to Tim Burton's other movie, concept movie idea called what's his name, Frankenweenie, which I never saw yet. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing that one day. But this movie is pretty good for romance. I don't know if it actually goes into the whole necrophilia thing or not, because there's love between a human being and a dead person. So I don't know if that would count for it, because there's nothing physical that goes on between them. And as usual, there are many fun characters in there too. But anyway, they list this movie as like a fantasy / family movie. I don't think so. I don't think that it might be a family movie partly around the movie, but fantasy, I don't think so. When you think of fantasy, you think of like say Neverending Story or Lord of the Rings movies, something with magical powers and this and that. Not something like this movie. I wouldn't think so. But anyway, we begin with talking about Victor's marriage to Victoria Evergard, which is quite weird because Victor is like what they call nouveau riche, which is basically where you would get people who are new into money, or they call him like his parents' occupation is like a fishmonger, like a fish business in the city of Vin. and the, the, the Everglades are rich people, like really, really rich people. Like they, Phineas Everglades is Allegheny, the voice, the mother named Maureen Everglades, and she's voiced by Jonah Lumley. It's quite funny because in the movie, every character, every single character has a different design and different features to him or her, with the exception of the spiders, but I don't think it ever counts for different characters. And that's pretty cool because the mother, Marlene, I don't even know if that's her name or not, but she looks like Mom from the Futurama series, or say Dracula from one of the Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula, with the big baboon hair, and that's very funny. But yeah, she reminded me that she had the same personality as Mom too. Anyway, these two people, they don't fall, they are not in love with each other. It's just for the money, and the prestige of being married. Which, yeah, in Victorian England, this is like a very big deal. Like they don't love somebody, and that people who marry for love are stupid and insecure and dumb and all that. The real prestige is made from money and power, but they don't have any. They're low on funds, so yeah, that's okay. Anyway, so they're having a daughter get married to the fish guy, who's they begrudgingly do it because they don't want to do it. They don't want to give their daughter away to some lonely fish guy. But the guy ends up being very clumsy and very awkward, like most of Tim Burton's main characters. And the main pastor, very funny, is done by Christopher Lee, the legend. And it's so funny because he's more of a stickler for for doing everything by the book, properly and all that. And then he gets pissed off at the guy for not saying his vows properly and doing everything properly and pissing everybody else off too. Now, I'm one of those people who believe that that the people who are really into this stuff, like said word for word and all that, and scene by scene, they probably have weddings designed around Tim Burton's movies, and they probably love and worship this movie without end, and they probably recite the vows as if they themselves are getting married to someone else who likes the movie just as much as they do. And so they kind of fight at that, and they would probably use the same vows for their own wedding too, in other contexts. But anyway, he ends up running away from the wedding, which is usually a bride thing. They run away from being too scared, too nervous, or whatever. But this time it's the man that does so. And he actually slept on some ice. Now it's very funny because when he's slipping on ice, he shows off the kind of how should you put that? Kind of not difficulty, but the whole problems with dealing with some of the characters that are made by Tim Burton and his team of claymation people, because the kid's got like no legs. I mean, like they're very skinny, like this level thickness legs, and it's kind of questioning how they can actually support someone that big, that tall and that wide on a lake or something, or just walking around regularly. Like I always had legs overrated, but this kind of takes it way too far. I would think that there'd be some kind of attitude problem there too. Also, you could make the notion that Jack Youngkin also had the same issue, but it's okay because he was already dead at that point. But this guy's supposed to be alive. And by the way, it's funny that Victoria is the love interest, the one that should be getting married in the movie, and her face is like heart shaped, and we got Victor Vedor look also a lot like somebody I know, my the guy that married my cousin, Lewis. He actually looks a lot like him, and same personality too. Just give the guy a nice drum kit warrior guitar. I forgot which one he played, but it would be a dead image for that guy. No pun intended, of course, in this movie. And I hope he lives long and prosperous. But anyway, they have him slip up, and then he actually makes he proposes, like pretending to propose to somebody, but it turns out that he put the wedding ring on a finger that looks more like a dead tree branch than nails, and it's turned out to be Emily, but he didn't know any better. He didn't know that was a finger, just like a dead old tree branch type thing. He puts the ring on the finger, and then she ends up getting resurrected. I have no idea why the power of the ring gave her the power of resurrection. That wedding ring could have been the one ring of power for all I know. So anyway, she ends up getting resurrected and then chasing the guy. And I think that there's the part where the guy slipped on the ice. But for claymation, it's actually pretty damn good because you got her physical body, you got the skeleton, the bones, or whatever, what have you. Then you got her clothes, which I have no idea how they animated that. They could have done like a drawing type thing, or they could use real fabric or whatever, but that came out pretty good because it was very ethereal and very spooky. On some level, as a banshee, or say like the hair from the character of Sally the Ragdoll from Nightmare Before Christmas. So anyway, this show had Mom actually getting chased down by this girl, and then she ends up chasing someone that he likes out by knocking into something heavy, and they are both transported, landing dead. Kind of remind me of Coco a little bit. So anyway, they're in the land of the dead, and then everything comes to bright colors. Because formerly in Victorian England, everything was black, white, and gray. Like many of Tim Burton movies, they will want Joe Home to take that the living world is boring and dull, and the underworld is more lively and more fun and festive. Which is kind of weird that way to put it, but it's more oddly and festive. So anyway, they have her this menu husband and this and that, and then she introduces them to all of her over lifelong friends. No pun intended. But one guy's a bartender who is a guy who's just a head surrounded by a bunch of cockroaches, do all the weird stuff for him. This little and the Pong Bonaparte dwarf, which is really funny because Napoleon Bonaparte himself was like 5'7", so not what I would consider a small person, but because of the way the measurement system was, that he was actually seen as being 5'2". You know, but their measurement nowadays it'd be more like 5'7", 5'8". So a little bit of a problem there. So anyway, there's also a sword through his gut, which probably the way he died. And then we got the Austrian soldier there with a monocle on and with weird eyes on his skull. That's pretty cool. I love them the best out of all of the black. So then you got well, you have you have the worm, which looks a lot like Pylori. He's voiced by and we tell, and he also voices Tim Cryer. And the Tim Cryer actually looks a lot like what's his name, Lee Evans from the movie Mouse Hunt. Them have fun around town and everything. And then it's funny because they also have a weird they also show a bunch of they also show this weird skeleton guy that's like Master H's like all knowledgeable guy. Like I would say that he's more or less like the skeleton version of the pastor, which is kind of weird because he's more helpful than the guy that's living. And by the way, being that his pastor is kind of fucked up, he also has another. It's also another character in it that's like I don't know if he's related to her, but by her posture, I would say she is. When we've been real bitch to animate because she's got like a question mark spine. Same with him too. And I think her name is Miss Plum, voiced by Gene Herox. So anyway, it's really funny. And the elder guy is called Elder. How am I gonna try to pronounce Elder G? So anyway, yeah, it shows this guy tried to help her out by showing about certain things and how the world works and stuff. I would think that she'd be dead for so long that she knows everything about the world already. The underworld, like. So they also show that the they want to have a big celebration, big honeymoon, and a big party for everybody. But Victor keeps trying to sneak back to see Victoria, as someone should do, to find the love, the life, and all that. So it's funny because the elder G said something only to get over there. He's voiced by Michael Gao. I think it's how you pronounce it. He's trying to he told them that they could go for a day, kind of like with Dragon Ball Z, where somebody can visit for 24 hours unless the power levels are high for one day, but then come back prematurely. You would have to use the word hopscotch as a password to get back, which I find very interesting. They use a harmless child's game as a path to come back to Land of the Dead. But anyway, he goes to Victoria, tried to explain everything, and she's like the bride Emily's like, who's this other woman? Who's this other person? I'm jealous for some reason because she got a pulse. So then she ends up getting taking the word hopscotch in a very threatening way. So then go back to see Mr. G, and then they totally find the because but you are the other woman. Oh, I'm supposed to be married to Victoria up there. And she's like in denial about the fact that she's dead and stuff. I guess it's like a kind of like a species thing, like, almost like racism type of thing. Like, what she got that I don't got up pulse for one thing. Anyway, she is very apprehensive over the fact that she's the other woman and all that. So she eventually does try winning over by showing off her nice personality and her piano skills, and even the fact that her hand detaches, and it's kind of funny that way too. And this movie is also a musical with very nice low original musical pieces. Plus, I think they played that original Chopin, I forgot what they call it, but the kind of depressing song in the beginning of the movie. So anyway, they show all this. Meanwhile, Victoria goes to the priest, Pastor Gilwell, and she tried to say, since you're the preacher, you know everything there is to know about the afterlife, and as I think she kind of got the nail on the head, being that, if I had a question about the afterlife or the dead, I would go to a preacher or a pastor or something along those lines to answer a question that I don't know. But there, in the guy says, I know that's good for you. And she ends up taking him back to her own house to be put into a mental house, a lockdown, until Lloyd Barkas, played by Richard Grant, comes in and tried to smooth everybody over. And he's actually a big rich guy and all that. But really, he's a cool man, as I will say. He ends up being a horrible person and public scum sure with little legs too. And Emily gives Victor a nice little wig present of about a box of bones. It turned out to be scrapped his first puppy, his first dog in dead form. It's actually really funny that he dog ends up doing tricks like rolling over, which has been a headache to animate, as well as speaking, as well as playing dead. And to which Victor goes, sorry. That's very funny actually. So anyway, the girl locked up for being not crazy and seeing all these visions about Victor getting married to corpse and stuff. Even Victor's parents, Neil Van Dort and voiced by Tracy Ullman of all people, Holy House voices William Mandler, his father. Even their song worked by him. And the town crier admits that he was with a mystery woman the night they disappeared. To which one of them says, but our son doesn't know any women. So it must have been like an arranged marriage type of thing. And when Emily gets married to Lord Bargrass, she's like this. Completely zoned out. Because she doesn't know the guy. And the guy's like twice her age. So, anyway, they decide to get married in the underworld, Victor and Emily. But the thing is that they do his part type of thing. Because, that's what the way traditional wedding vows go, you know. You get to your part. That's when God says, enough is enough. And you're getting divorced the whole way. So, the Mr. G, Elder G said that Emily, he's gotta be dead for you to get married to God. And she said, I can't force him to kill himself or die just for me. Although I'm sure that Gomez and Morticia wouldn't have a problem with that. Because I remember in the first Adam Sandler movie, he said, I would die for you. Well, those people can't die at all. I'm convinced that they're immoral or they have some superior healing factor. So in any case, he said that I will really give my life for you. Alright. I will really give my life to you. So then send the date for wedding, which coincides pretty nicely with the wedding of the others upstairs, as it were. So then they said we're gonna have a big party, but we're gonna be upstairs for it. Now this is where the family aspect comes into play, because we've all had people that have departed from this world, right? My mother has, my grandmother has, my grandparents have all passed away. Everybody has somebody that they loved that went bye bye. So they tackled this part in the movie by having number one, the vandalist Coachman died of a bad cough, like pneumonia or something. He croaked, turned blue, and died and stuff. And then they showed he showed the guy ended up in where they are now and such. So anyway, they're like the dead go into the living world. And very funny because the past was like back please, back, go away, go back to the demon realm where you belong and stuff. We want the skeletons and zombies are like shh, shh, in a church, quiet down, and the look on his face like, excuse me. So it's very funny. Anyway, the dead are like you know, the gang go creepy with the light people and stuff. Then they're like, they pick up the child and they can eat him or scare him or something. And he goes, Daddy? And we're like, Susie, my little girl, I died 8 days ago, 10 years ago. He says, how you doing? So it turns to be a family film after all. Even when this one woman is assaulting the skeleton because she thinks that the skeleton's gonna kill her, eat her, or something like that. He said, Gertrude, I'm your husband from 15 years ago. Oh, George, I miss you so much. It's okay, funny and really touching. So anyway, they have it together. And one of my favorite guys in the world is Mr. Bojangles. One-eyed skeleton who got an extended jaw. Kind of like Nigel Longbottom III from Family Guy. And he's voiced by the music guy from all of Tim Burton movies. Because of the name right off the top of my head. Ivan Reitman, no. Well, I wouldn't have one. Anyway, he's really good because he provides all the song numbers in the world. He even shows what happened to Miss Emily. And then she was left for dead by a guy who was gonna a little bit of it, took away her dowry and said the dowry is like this old-fashioned thing where bride was seen as like not as valuable as grooms, so the parents would sweeten the deal by offering money and objects and maybe even farm animals to go with the woman to make the men like her more. I don't know, it's old fashioned and outdated, but this movie makes it like the guy just took all the money and then spend on whatever. So he made the Bojangles tomatoes and song and to tell the sad story of Emily that's how she died. And the brightest Lord Progress that's going to tending Emily, that's going to tending the Victoria too. Unless Victor has anything to say about that. Which, by the way, you probably already know that Victoria is just a feminine version of Victor. The name Victor. So anyway, they do that, and that's so funny that happened like that. So anyway, they end up going to the big church, and it says to the wedding venue and stuff like that, with everybody involved, the parents, the guests, the dead, the living cats and dogs living together too. And that's very sweet. But then Lord Podcast ends up becoming more of a dick because he thinks that Emily, the 18th Victoria, got a diary, and he's shocked when he doesn't find out about it, when he doesn't get it. So or like, but don't you do your homework when you ask people around, are these people, loaded, or they just taking it? You probably assume that all women get diaries and whatever. But anyway, I like the worm in this too, because the worm says that it's just in the maggot says, you get to read lines like if I wasn't already in there, I would say that you lost your mind to Emily, the white man, like a white guy with pulse, and that was the belt of it. He wanted to rip Robaga new one himself because he hurt Emily. Everyone loves Emily in the afterlife, and that she would take him away to June, whatever. So anyway, he showed that they showed that Elder G said, no, we can't mess with their affairs. So after a big sword fight, and Emily getting impaled by a sword from Lord Barkas over Victoria's honor, I guess. And he defended by his scheme and wanted to put an end to it and stuff. And the only thing that Victor was able to fight with was a little subtle fork provided by somebody. I think it might be the shed zombies or something. So after the monologue about how he killed Emily, and then he wanted to kill Victoria too for the dowry and stuff. He drinks the poison wine that was meant for Victor to kill himself, and then he ends up becoming all blue in the face. And then Elder G said, "Have at it, boys." And you can see everyone going into the closet to kill Lord Barkas and rough him up. And they even said, as they closed the door, no arrival. So what? Did Lord Barkas go to super hell or something? Or super damnation? That's like to be funny. To be manhandled in church like that. And the fact that Emily took a sword blow for Victor proves how much she loves him. And now she is trying that she doesn't want to, that she wants Victor to live his life with Victoria. That's kind of sweet. And the fact that the love buckets with the sort of hands that get out. There's so much square face. Shows that there is very much good potential in animation for claymation with stop motion. So yeah, she ends up crying and then let go of her soul. Let go. I don't that means that she's gone from this world or she is sent to a higher plane like I think it did in God of War 3. But I just remember something else happening in this movie after that resembles something else I saw in another movie where the main heroine of the film ended up being passed away and then having her body become like a butterfly and then fly away. I think that this movie made a copy from that other movie or vice versa. But anyway, that's very good. Good show that Emily is happy with Victor, not because of money or power, because of love. And that's all we need right now. We need a little love. I love this movie. This movie's great. It's got comedy. It's got great revenge part of it. It's got good impersonation of Peter Lorre. And really good. It's got a horror theme to it, but it's more loving and romantic. So I decided to put it right here. But let's see here. I love the design for each of the characters. I like the little dwarf guy that, the important guy. I like the chef guy. I even like the design of Lord Buckets, which, believe it or not, has a bigger chin than, say, Jay Leno. I like the pastor, the preacher. I like Mr. As the G with his cracked skull. What gives it back to the movie design. Even the spiders are flying too. When they make Victor's tuxedo. Those are the I feel like the bride's design. It kind of reminds me of Beatrix Kiddo after she died from after Kill Bill 1 and 2. Let's see what else is there. Also, the voice actor do a good job with it. And it's still bugging me about the guy voice Bojangles. Fun fact, the name Bojangles is actually name of a bar that my dad used to go to when he was in New York City. I don't know if it's still there or not, but it'd be funny if it was. Yeah. Deep Boy is also in his plate, the important guy, and got everything else with Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman provides the voice of Bone Jangles. But anyway, I find this movie to be very delightful. quirky. I highly recommend that you haven't seen it yet. You know what? I'm surprised that they didn't go for the low-hanging fruit of, a lot for York. I knew him well. Like in The Nightmare Before Christmas. By the way, Danny Elfman also provides the voice for singing Jack in that movie. That's something that's cool. So I guess he's a very good singer. Or maybe it could be that he doesn't trust anybody else to sing in his movies. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, different elements in there. Imagine that Barker's killed Emily and we're gonna do to it. Aunt Victoria too. I also like the fight in the church scene, and that having a fork as a weapon is like pretty. It's very useful. So anyway, I thank you for watching my video on Corpse Bride, where I thought necrophilia for G-rated audience. Because it's such a comprehensive, a dead corpse, reanimate, and then pursue this living guy. Kind of reverse of what we expect from necrophilia. Whereas usually it's a guy that's rejected and stuff by the living world and wants to go for a fling with a dead body corpse. But another that I made a whole video about that, which to this date no one watched. So yeah, that would be fun. Anyway, I did this for February, the month of love in February 2026, because it's I'm a modern about time, and it's a good romance movie too. More romance than creepy, horrible, Halloween stuff. So yeah, I give this movie a type of piece, zero approval, because this movie's a masterpiece. And the first actor did a good job too. Me seems like Helena Bonham Carter, Danny Elfman, and Johnny Depp. They do an excellent job in movies by Tim Burton. Anyway, if you like what you see here, and want to see more on my channel, you can always like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. You can also contact me for future information on my videos, but call me or text me at 631-707-3707, or you can follow me on Twitter at PNelsonPro. Also X if you want to call that, and you can get my email at jjsviewingchannel@gmail.com. So, I salute everyone out there like Tim Burton, and I wish I could find someone that's as kind as it's Victoria. By the way, when she had her hair back during the wedding ceremony, that must have been a pain in the ass to animate to put all the little backwards brushes into claymation form. But it was so good. That and clothing has been a heck to animate. And by the way, when the good dead people are swarming Lord Barkett. I could swear that they did the shadows of the skeleton heads and stuff on the door were actually done very much like they were drawn in the Nightmare Before Christmas. Like more of a 2D animation type drawing. It was okay by me. So, peace out my brothers and sisters. I'll see you in the next video of the girls and guys in Interland. See ya. Sayonara and ciao ciao.